Bills, as I've argued in the not-too-distant past, need to get Stefon Diggs finally taken care of. They traded for him 2 years ago. He tweeted his way out of Minnesota, coincidentally or not, after Kirk Cousins got his second contract with the Vikings. Diggs was gone basically within a day after he made it clear he wanted out. We kind of had a sense that things weren't ideal for him in Minnesota.
Yep.
Right. He had signed his second contract with the Vikings, though. The Bills took him on with that contract, and they kept him for 2 years without giving him a major payday. Now we see the receiver market go haywire. The Bills do the smart thing. They make Stefon Diggs happy. The reports are already conflicting on what the deal is worth, and we know how this goes by now. There are the initial reports that are given to us by the people who thrive on someone choosing to give them the information. They will tend to boost the numbers because the agents are the ones that typically put this out there. 4 years, $104 million is how Shefty has characterized it. That makes it worth $26 million per year in new money. Rappaport says 4 years, $96 million, and it can be worth more in incentives. That obviously makes it worth less than $26 million per year in new money. It makes it $24 million per year in new money. And when you talk about how we've got this competition between who's getting the most money, that's a big difference between 26 and 24. Now, the way that Schefter characterizes it from signing, it's 6 years, 124.1. That's $20.6 million per year at signing. I don't know whether that bakes in this $8 million that's kind of floating between is it incentives or is it not incentives. So here's how it works. What we know is he signed a contract. We also know that there's some numbers out there that people will gladly pass along without saying, are you sure? They never stop and say, are you sure? Because if they stop and say, are you sure, they give the information to someone else. That's how it goes. So then phase 3, at some point in the next couple of days, we'll get the contract or a breakdown of the contract that tells us exactly what it's worth. And it'll be interesting to see where it falls.
Yes.
When we get into the details in relation to Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, other top receivers, where is the Stefon Diggs data point? Because that becomes relevant to guys like DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown, teammates at Mississippi who are both in line to get paid a lot of money by somebody.
Yeah, no doubt. First off, I think it's a great thing for the Buffalo Bills, right? I mean, there's no doubt Stefon Diggs is their go-to guy. It's Josh Allen's go-to guy. You know, Mike, to something you said earlier about the draft and support system and all of those type of things, you know, Stefon Diggs is looked at as kind of like a little bit of a pain in the butt. Sometimes a diva up in Minnesota got to a place that he liked with the right people around him, and now they look at him as one of the best guys in the locker room and a leader that way. So, you know, awesome for them. He's an awesome football player who can do everything within their system. So I love that Buffalo did this, you know, to give them a future and security there and to reward Stefon Diggs. No question. He's a special football player. He is. But, yeah, as far as the contract itself, it will be interesting to kind of see where that goes because I want to pull up some of these ones right now that are up there as far as that conversation goes. You know, we talked about Devontae Adams, $28 million, like you said. Now Diggs is third in football at 26 as of right now.
If it's 26.
If it's 26. Right. So it's slightly behind Hopkins, Adams, Tyreek Hill, and that conversation there. And as it pertains to DK Metcalf, I would think he's going to want a little bit. I would think he's going to want somewhere right in that area, or if not north of that, going, wait, I haven't even reached my potential. You got to pay me for what I could do, what I'm going to do a little bit. And that's where it's going to be interesting with him specifically.
Here's the other thing to remember, too. When you commit for 6 years into the future, especially now, as the salary cap is really starting to get that nitrous oxide boost from TV money and gambling money, it may be in another 2 or 3 years, Stefon Diggs looks around and says, man, I'm getting screwed.
Right.
This is not a good deal.
Right.
The longer the deal you do in today's climate, especially right now, the greater the chance you're going to say halfway into that deal, this isn't a good deal. So that's why it's also important to get into the details. How much does he make the first 3 years? Is it front-loaded? Is it back-loaded? Just a few weeks ago, the Bills gave Von Miller 6 years, $120, and we knew instinctively from the start there's no way in hell at 6 years, $120, and the truth ended up being something far less than that, something as a practical matter far shorter than that. That's going to be part of this as well. And it's funny, Schefter's tweet says that the intent from both sides is to have Stefon Diggs retire in Buffalo. The word intent probably should not be used in any context as it relates to what a team intends to do or wants to do or plans to do, because we know plans change. And we definitely know with Diggs, plans can change quickly. Now, there's no reason for him to leave Josh Allen, but if he gets to a point 2 or 3 years from now where the market's north of $30 million for receivers and the salary cap is kissing $300 million a year, that's when he may intend something else if the Bills don't tear up what's left on the contract and fix it like they did today.
Yeah, no, definitely, and to the same point as Buffalo 3 years from now, 4 years from now could go, wait, he doesn't have the same speed, doesn't have the same burst, and they could cut ties with him, and that's it. So, don't be mad, fans, if he does want more money after performing awesome in 3 years from now and the market's exploded. That's for sure. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where the market does go as far as the salary cap, because you're right, it just seems like everything's kind of on the brink of exploding here as far as some of these numbers, and already has exploded.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.